Hey everyone, I'm Lisette Oropesa, and I'm going to be sharing with you today 5 tips on how to go from your running to your singing seamlessly. As many of you guys know, I'm an avid runner and of course an opera singer, and I travel internationally and I run everywhere that I go. And one of the things that I get asked about the most often is, Lisette, how do you run so much and still sing? What are your tips or secrets for going back and forth? Running is a wonderful workout for singers because it does teach you cardiovascular strength, it gives you endurance. It's the kind of thing you can do anywhere and everywhere. You don't need a gym, you don't need equipment, and of course it gets you some vitamin D and some endorphins. So Alabama and Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, and more, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, and Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, 35 to go. Tip number 1. Always warm up and cool down for every single run. This goes for every workout, no matter how long or how short. You absolutely must warm up your body and your breath before you begin. It's just like singing. One thing I always do is I begin every workout with a little bit of a body shakeout. So I'll start with my neck. Usually if it's in the morning, my neck is really, really tight. So like I might try some forward bends, and you might notice that when you bend over forward bend in the morning, your neck and back are a little tight. This is totally normal and it's totally fine. You don't need to wrench yourself out of bed and try to get yourself as long as possible. You will warm up throughout the run, but it is important that you kind of get your joints a little bit loose before you get started. Now, because you'll be running and most often you'll probably be like this can feel a little tight. So it's really important that you keep yourself loose before you run. So I always do like arm circles. I shake out my wrists and elbows. I shake out my hips and torso. I shake out my knees and my ankles. Begin every run in a place that feels physically free and physically comfortable. If you're in any type of pain besides just regular muscular soreness, if it hurts when you put your foot down, if it hurts your ankle or your knee or whatever, then don't run that day. Take an easy walk and shake yourself out that way. But definitely don't run over any kind of pain. If you warm up, you absolutely will avoid a lot more injuries. The same goes for a cool down. After every run, I always allot at least 5 minutes to walk, cool my breath back down, and even stretch some. Unless it is freezing cold outside, you absolutely should walk for at least 5 or 10 minutes. So one thing I do if it is really cold outside is I bring a jacket, wrap it around my waist, and run with it so that it doesn't get wet, obviously from sweating. And then when I'm done running, I take off the jacket, dry, throw it over myself, and walk for a few more minutes. It's super important to get this cool down after you've done your working out, because your breath will be used up and you will feel your body will absolutely be worked out, and you're going to need that few minutes to really get yourself back into a place where singing is going to feel comfortable. One of the poses I like to do after a run is Warrior 1, Warrior 2, Downward Dog, and Runner's Lunge. Anything basically to kind of get your legs back in a stretched position. A forward bend, it gets your back nice and long, and of course breathing throughout these stretches so that you maintain that kind of physical connection that's super important for running as well as singing. Kansas and Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Segudo, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, and Nebraska's 27, number 28's Nevada. Tip number 2. While you're running, keep your singer's breath on your mind. It's really important that you do not stack your breaths while you run, even though it's very tempting to do so, especially if you're going a little bit faster than feels comfortable. So I always do an in for 3, out for 2 ratio, and that means in for 3 steps and out for 2. So it will be and that kind of thing. Oh my God. Excuse me, I inhaled an insect. Protein. It's definitely up to you, whatever breath pattern works for you, whatever you choose. But I have found that a little slightly longer inhale and a slightly shorter exhale kind of even out the body so that you're not always exhaling on the exact same foot, which supposedly over time can kind of prevent you building more strength on one side. While you're running, breathe like you are going to sing. Of course, you shouldn't try to sing while running. You might be able to chat while running, and that's actually one thing that's really good to try, is to make sure that while you're running, you can still maintain a conversation. This is a nice, even, comfortable pace, and usually the pace that I do most days of the week. In general, I would say that runs should serve as a warm-up and a supplement to your singing life rather than a detriment to your singing life. So if you feel like you're running so hard and so much that you just can't come off of it in order to sing, then definitely try and slow down so that you're to a comfortable conversational pace, and then it will be a lot easier to go back and forth from your workout to your singing. Next, New Hampshire and New Jersey, and way down New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, now let's see, Rhode Island, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee. Tip number 3, hydration. Of course, this seems to go without saying, but we often forget that a workout is going to make us feel very, very dry, especially if we're huffing and puffing, which we might do sometimes when we're running. It's nothing to be afraid of, and the cold air, the dry air, the humid air, all the different types of air that are going to be outside, or even in the gym, the air conditioning or whatever that's running in the gym may make you feel a little bit drier in your vocal cords. And so the best way to combat that, of course, is to hydrate. Now, this may mean that you're stopping at the bathroom a lot, but I always do 30 minutes before a run. I try to make sure that I get at least a half cup of water. And this gets me in a place that feels much more lubricated, especially if it's first thing in the morning and you haven't been drinking anything all night. Definitely down some water before you go. Well, go before you go and down some water, and it definitely makes a big difference. This goes for during and after your run as well. In general, I would say anytime that you're running a little longer than, say, 45 minutes, you should bring some water along, or find a running route that has pit stops where you can drink some water, because obviously you're going to feel dry. And as a singer, I know that can feel kind of weird to have that cotton mouth feeling. If you're in a dry climate, like a desert or a place that has high altitude, absolutely make sure that you hydrate every so often, at least every 15 to 20 minutes, because it does make a difference to not only your mouth and your tongue and your throat and vocal cords, but just your body in general. Your skin will dry out, and that's the kind of thing that you definitely want to avoid as much as possible. This goes, of course, for after a run. My favorite post-run snack, if I can manage it, is a smoothie of some kind. And a lot of people like to drink milk. A lot of people like to drink tea, orange juice, coffee even, but coffee kind of dehydrates you, so be careful when you drink it. And also take note, coffee can give you acid reflux, so just be really careful about when you drink it. And if you feel that acid reflux happening during your run, then it might be time to change up your pre-run routine. Texas, and there's Utah, Vermont, I'm almost through, Virginia, and there's Washington and West Virginia too. Tip number 4, timing. It is tempting to use a run as a warm-up and then go straight into your voice lesson or audition. I always like to give myself at least 2 hours before I have to do any major singing. This is just so that my body can get back into a place of easy, long, calm breaths. Even after a run, if you do a cool down and you drink your smoothie and you have a shower, you're still gonna feel a little bit tight, especially if you're not used to singing immediately after running. So I always give myself at least a couple of hours if I know I'm gonna be singing something that requires incredible breath support. After a run, of course, I take a shower, and I suggest that you do as well. Warming up in the shower is great because not only are you steaming and hydrating your body and your throat again, but it also gives you a few minutes to kind of meditate and cool down and enjoy the entire experience. Enjoy the endorphins, because you do get a rush of them from running. You do get a rush of them from working out. And of course you get them from singing. So it's really, really nice to sing in the shower for a few minutes if you have time. The shower, the shower, the shower. No sex before a workout. If you know you need to be singing an audition or a performance, and you know you're going to need a lot of energy to get through it, it's extremely important that you take it very easy on your workout by making it shorter or by making it softer. In other words, no speed workouts, no hills, nothing that's going to make you feel worked out to the point that you're absolutely exhausted and you need a full day to recover. Workouts need recovery also, but singing is what you do for a living, and so it's really important that you are gentle with yourself and you understand that your energy needs to be saved for the stage. Tip number 5, and this goes without saying throughout all of life, take it easy and enjoy the experience. It may not be the most fun thing to go to the gym every single day at 6 a.m. and get on the treadmill, but there are a lot of people that do it, and they have way more boring jobs than we do. Running is so beautiful when you're outside and you're enjoying nature and you're enjoying being in a beautiful new city, which you often may be. Sometimes you'll find yourself waking up in the middle of the night and you won't even know where you are, but your runs will always help orient you, and they're a great way to get to know a city. They're a great way to hang out with friends, perhaps schedule a group run between you and some colleagues. You might end up getting to know each other in a totally different way, and you'll build a special bond that you really don't share with anyone else other than your amazing colleagues. For me, running runs are a relaxing, meditative experience. Yes, I do enjoy distance. Of course, I do enjoy marathons. I do enjoy speed training and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I run to relax and I run to enjoy life. I run to stay fit and healthy and happy. I run because it makes me feel good. If you're just starting out, don't be afraid to stop and walk. It's really, really good for you to learn to build this kind of stamina slowly. Overdoing it can lead to injury. So it's really, really important that you're gentle with yourself and you take it easy as you're starting out and do a run-walk ratio. Perhaps run for 30 seconds and walk for 1 minute, and do that for about 30 minutes. Eventually, you will build up to a point where you can run nonstop. And this is a wonderful feeling when you've done your first mile, your first 2 miles, your first 5K. These are the kinds of goals to strive for, and they really, really mean a lot to a person who's been building them up from absolute zero, which is how I started. I couldn't even run 1 mile. I hope you guys found these tips helpful and that you were able to get something from them, both for your singing and your running. Remember, breathing is key. Warming up, cooling down, absolutely important. Be gentle with yourself and take it easy and enjoy the experience. And stay hydrated. And of course, maybe wear sunblock. If you're someplace sunny, don't forget to wear sunblock. That's a good bonus tip for everybody. Thank you as always for sending me questions like this. I really appreciate you guys putting your trust in me and asking me for advice. I hope that my humble advice is helpful. And keep singing and definitely keep running. Take care. Could Wisconsin be the last one, or is it 49? No, Wyoming is the last state in the 50 states that rhyme. One time, I had that song stuck in my head for an entire marathon.